all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning and thanks for listening in. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today's the 13th of January. India yesterday kicked off one of the world's biggest inoculation programs. Refrigerated trucks and private planes accompanied by police officers fanned out from Pune yesterday to around 60 different locations across the country as hundreds of thousands of medical workers are on standby to start vaccinations this weekend. In the top news, there are key updates on the economy. India's retail inflation fell sharply in December, led by a crash in vegetable prices. Consumer price index inflation stood at 4.59% in December compared with 6.93% in November, according to data released by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. This was lower than the consensus estimates by economists tracked by Bloomberg. At the current level, inflation is finally back within the Monetary Policy Committee's target range of 4% plus or minus 2% for the first time since March 2020. Inflation in December was at its lowest in 15 months. In fact, inflation in food and beverages dropped to a 16-month low of 3.87% in December compared with 8.76% in November. Core inflation also eased to 5.34% in December compared with 5.56% in November. Meanwhile, India's industrial output contracted for the first time since September as the impact of an inventory buildup and festive demand waned. The index of industrial production contracted 1.9% in November over a year ago, compared with an increase of 4.1% in October, as per revised data released yesterday. A Bloomberg poll of economists had forecast November IIP to contract by 1%. In other news, India's biggest online education startup, Byju's, has entered into a deal to acquire brick-and-mortar test preparation company Akash Educational Services for $1 billion, according to a person with knowledge of the talks. The deal, for what will be one of the largest edtech acquisitions in the world, should close in the next 2 to 3 months. In the automotive space, electric vehicle company Tesla has officially entered India by registering with the Registrar of Companies as Tesla India Motors and Energy Private Limited. The company was incorporated in Bengaluru on the 8th of January. The company is believed to be an R&D facility, and there's currently no official statement about when Tesla will roll out its suite of electric vehicles. In international news, Malaysia's Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin, who decided to suspend democracy for the first time in half a century to fight the coronavirus pandemic, has assured the nation that he wasn't staging a military coup, although he remained vague as to just how he'll use his new powers. But his opponents have found it hard to view the extraordinary move as anything but a power grab. The Southeast Asian nation has seen a surge of COVID-19 cases in recent weeks, and measures to combat the pandemic have generally enjoyed broad support across the political spectrum. But the latest move may change that perception. You'll find more on the website bloombergquint.com. In international markets, US stocks ended higher but with narrow gains. In the Asia-Pacific region, the three early risers have opened mixed. And with that, it's over to Hormuz Fatakia for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Hormuz. How are we looking this Wednesday?
Good morning to you, Alex, and to those tuned in. 483 points. That is the figure for you today. The Sensex needs to gain these many points in today's session to reach 50,000. This will mean that the index will have doubled in just over 6 years after crossing the 25,000 mark for the first time ever in June 2014. Milestones aside, there are lots of stocks that will be in action today, and since IT will be the flavor of the day, I'll start off with that. Tech Mahindra will be acquiring 100% shareholding of Payments Technology Services for a cash consideration of $9 million. It expects to complete the transaction by the 31st of March 2021. It is said that this acquisition is in line with the company's strategy of pivoting its business towards product and platform implementation. Staying with IT and earnings will take center stage for the sector today. Both Infosys and Wipro will be announcing their December quarter results after market hours today, and expectations are naturally high after the quarter delivered by TCS on Friday evening. Speaking of earnings, another technology company, Tata Elxsi, will be reacting to its results reported after market hours on Tuesday. The company's revenue and profits were ahead of analyst estimates, while margins expanded close to 300 basis points on a sequential basis. The company said that it has seen sustained recovery in the automotive market for the second straight month, adding that it is entering the fourth quarter and the new year with reinforced confidence of a strong deal pipeline across markets and industries. And to round off the earnings wheel, non-index names reporting results today are CESC, GTPL Hathway and 5paisa Capital. Moving away from earnings, Hero MotoCorp has expanded its presence in Central America. It has lined up aggressive expansion plans for both Honduras and Nicaragua and has begun by appointing new distribution partners in both these countries. It will be launching a range of premium motorcycles in both these countries and also expand its network with flagship stores and extensive customer touchpoints. Bharti Airtel has said that it has initiated the process to revise its foreign investment limits to 100% with immediate effect after it received the approval for its relevant downstream investments. The stock ended over 3.5% higher on Tuesday at the highest level in over 5 months. A couple of updates on Tata Motors. First, it has categorically denied any rumors pertaining to its partnership with Tesla. It said, and I quote, Tata Motors has not taken any decision regarding a strategic partner for its passenger vehicles business and categorically denies any and all rumors suggesting the same. End of quote. Aside of that, the company's global wholesales rose 1% from last year, but the growth on a sequential basis stood at 37%. Global wholesales of all commercial vehicles fell 4% from last year, while those of all passenger vehicles rose by a similar amount. Bharat Rasayan has approved a buyback of equity shares at its board meeting on Tuesday. The company will buy back over 93,000 shares, which is just over 2% of the total equity. The buyback price of 11,500 rupees per share is an 11.1% premium to Tuesday's closing price. The total cost of the buyback will be 107 crore rupees. And lastly, the non-retail OFS of Dishman Carbuge and Amesys received demand for over 66.8 lakh shares as compared to the 54.6 lakh shares that were on offer. The bids were received at an indicative price of 140.11 rupees per share. The company will now exercise its oversubscription option of over 32 lakh shares. The OFS for retail investors will open today. Early ticks on the SGX Nifty show that the index is flat around the mark of 14,600. We are all set for an action-packed day today. You can catch all the live updates on our website bloombergquint.com. With that, I wish you a safe day ahead, and it's back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Hormuz, and as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.